Well, welcome to the PM Challenges series. Today we're specifically talking about overcoming a lack of project resources. But first of all, some people ask, or they wonder, how did I even get here? What situation am I in that I even have a lack of resources? Well, I think it's really important to identify the situation you're in because there are different reasons of how you got there and approaches of how you overcome it based on the situation. So first of all, let's consider that with new, specifically emerging technologies, sometimes it's hard to find resources who know how to program or support that technology. So sometimes it's hard to find them, and even if you do, they come at a premium cost. Another situation could be that in your organization, a higher priority project comes on board, and then all of a sudden, some of your key resources are pulled off the project. Also, unforeseen events. So sometimes we think of maybe natural disasters. Sometimes people have projects where maybe they have union labor, so if there's a strike, that may impact the resources. Also, I know one instance that I had once, there was a guy on my team who was an organ donor for his sister. So they had been waiting years for this to happen, and then all of a sudden, in the middle and critical moment of a project, he was called up for the donor process. So he was pulled out for a significant amount of time. So we had to fill his position. And then also, there's just a flat out poor or lack of planning. So when these situations happen, of course, there's an impact to the project. So you know, projects are the components of the project are the cost, the time, the scope, and the quality. So you have to assess how this situation impacts your project. So let's look at a few ways that you can overcome these situations. So first of all, if it's a minor lack of resources, you can look at your project plan and your task and see, is there someone maybe who has some slack time that maybe could fill in for another, or maybe there's something that you can rearrange that's minor. But these, I believe, are more specific lack of resources that we're talking about here on this whiteboard session. So first of all, identify the situation you're in and the impact. And then leverage your change control board. Sometimes some project managers try to fix this problem on their own, and it's really the decision of the change control board of how to handle. So how do we do this? You present your case. So once you find the situation and the impact, you want to specifically identify the situation and how it impacts your cost, the time, the scope, and the quality of your project. And then identify or position several options for the change control board to consider. And then make your own recommendation. Doesn't mean that they have to take it, but it does let them know that you've done your homework and your research of the situation so that you can give them an idea of which path that you recommend. And then facilitate the decision with the change control board. And when they give guidance, they may have you, for instance, if it's an emerging technology, they may have you go procure or find additional resources for the team that may add more cost so they can approve it. If not, they may decide, well, we're having a hard time finding those resources, so they would be the ones to maybe approve an extension or delay in your timeline. Or maybe they may decide, well, they may take out some of the scope of the project. So they are the ones who can ultimately make those decisions and give you the approval so that you can re-baseline your project. And then, so you go back, and once the decision has been made, you adjust accordingly. So for sure, if you need a tool that can help you overcome your lack of resources, then sign up for our software now at projectmanager.com.